What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Marsh Boys podcast. I'm your host, Brian. Today we are joined by Jeff Fools of Fools Migrators. How you doing tonight, Jeff?
Good, man. How you guys doing?
We're hanging in there, trying to
Oh,
beat the snow. I think we got 14 inches
wow.
Saturday night into Sunday.
Unbelievable.
That's
Wow.
the most we've gotten in three,
Long
four
time.
years. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I saw that yesterday. I was like, them poor boys. I'm glad that Harrisburg's over.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think
Did
they
they
got
get home?
hammered. I think
Did
they
they?
got hammered. No, you know what? I don't know if they got any.
I don't know.
To be honest with you.
They had quite a bit when we were there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there was a storm the weekend before. That's or yeah, the weekend before because I was supposed to go to North Carolina to hunt geese
Mhm.
that Saturday instead of coming to the outdoor show. And with that second storm we got, everything down there was frozen and the birds just never pushed down.
Right.
So I mean, the first storm we got came from the northwest. Second storm we got came from the southwest, and it kind of held everything we have while pushing everything from the north down to us. I mean, there for 2 weeks, there was. I wish I'd have had a clicker on me. I'd have counted. I wouldn't have counted the birds because I'm not that patient, but I would
Hmm.
have counted the feeds I saw. I mean, I saw feeds in areas around here that I've never seen geese before.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's cool.
there was more. There was more fields with birds in them than fields with birds without or birds
Wow.
without. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah. I think this storm we just got pushed them out of here, but
Mm.
we'll see what happens.
Was them
So
boys still in yet? Is that late season still in over there in Pennsylvania?
I don't know about the PA season. I know the New Jersey late season that just went out the 14th
Yeah, I think that's.
from
Yeah.
the end of January to it's like it always runs to like the second or the third Saturday in February. You can shoot 5 a day.
Yeah, yeah. I went one morning during the show there. I didn't
Oh
get to
yeah,
stay there long. Yeah. I do every year with oh my buddy Ryan out there, the UPS guy. So we had a lot of fun. We killed a few birds.
yeah. We had a 1 year where I think we killed 40 some birds in 2 weekends and we did all right. And then
Cool.
after that, I think they moved the line and where we hunted before, you couldn't hunt anymore.
Hmm.
So that left that at, or no, I'm sorry, they didn't move the line. I hunt on a sewage authority property, so you
Hmm.
can't hunt the ag fields. And this pond was set up right on the wood line, so it wasn't considered ag. They cleared all the woods around it, so now they consider it an ag field, and you can't get to it.
Wow, gotcha.
Yep.
Huh.
So it's been about 3 years since we've had you on.
Yeah,
How's
it's been a
everything?
while.
How's everything progressed since then? You making
Good.
anything new?
No, well, we've added a few, not too much for call wise. We brought the flutes back out.
I saw
And
that.
yeah, it's funny because when I started, oh gosh, 27 years ago, it was we were trying to bring everybody over to a short reed. Everybody blew a flute. Nobody knew how to blow a short reed, so it was like teaching everybody to do that. Now, if somebody picks up a flute, it's like now you're teaching them how to blow a flute. Despite kind of funny how it all evolved.
Yeah, I was looking at the meat cutter tubes and I did not want to make a fool out of myself. I tried to blow a flute call one time before and it didn't go well.
Well, it's everybody. It comes, short reed call. It comes out of your throat. Yeah,
Mm,
and this comes and you leave. The way I teach a short reed, leave your tongue down and come out of your throat. But this here to blow a flute, it comes just right out of your mouth, basically, and it's you flipping your tongue, saying "too wit, too wit, too wit," and you also have to manipulate your back pressure.
okay.
So there's quite a bit to it.
I mean, it definitely, as far as the goosier sound goes, I'd say the flute kind of holds the king on that one.
It does, especially when you mix it with a bunch of guys with short reeds. You
Okay.
throw one flute guy in there. We do that a lot up here, and Cole blows one a lot. And yeah, if you throw a flute call in with a bunch of short reeds, man, you got that one deep old goose that you always hear out there on the lake. It's got that deep moan and all that. So that gives you that. So it gives you. I always pack one with me.
Yeah, and I mean, I obviously you get that sound, but it definitely helps differentiate the tones if you have three or four callers. You know, it
Right. Exactly.
really makes it sound like multiple geese.
It does, and it's a really good tool in your arsenal. They kind of went away for a long time, and then we have a polycarbonate flute called a straight pipe,
Hmm.
and it's on the end of it. It has a piece on the end that would basically create the back pressure for you. So if you just want to get the honks, you can and hold it out with one hand and blow the thing almost. But you can also slide that piece off, and you got the same thing as a meat cutter and a polycarbonate. So the guys out there that don't want to spend 170 bucks on a flute that they don't know if they can buy it, they spend 40 bucks on that, get an instructional with it, and get started.
Yeah, no, I mean, I saw your video on that on YouTube. I go back every now and then and look at all the calls and stuff you put on there,
Hmm.
and I noticed that I think that was last week. That was the first time I saw it. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. We sell a bunch of them. You'd be surprised. And uh, Cole will go on there once in a while, and he'll put a TikTok thing up or something. And next thing you know, we're selling a dozen of them. So,
I was gonna say that the newest, I guess, trend you would call it with like the competition callers and all the good callers out there on social media is
hmm
they do like six different videos playing at the same time for like
uh,
it's almost like a live goose routine, but
right.
even better. And most of them are blowing flute calls.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the flutes, man, if you can get onto it, and it's like I say, it's not, if you try to blow one like a short reed, it doesn't come out the same. I
Okay.
mean, you
Yeah.
really got to pop that air out of it, But that's all we all blew for years.
Yeah. Now so I'm going to skip ahead on my question sheet here. Going from that to the short read, I'm assuming the first short reads were stuff like what Tim did with the half breed and stuff like that.
hmm
And when did acrylic calls start hitting the market? When did somebody
Well,
finally put a piece of acrylic on a lathe?
when I'm not going to say I'm the first, but I was one of the first. I'm trying to think if somebody else had an acrylic. Tim, I don't think had turned acrylic. He had a lot of wood stuff, and I come out with that straight meat honker and all acrylic because there was acrylic duck calls at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I come out with
Oh,
that, and
okay.
actually I was out to build a duck call. And then I had this goose call, that straight meat honker that I had made and turned on a lathe and shoved together, and we decided to put it together, and that was in '97, I think. And I had it for quite a while, and I had 96, '97. Then I finally built it in like '98 or something, and come out in '99 with it. So, um, but that was one of the straight meat honker was one of the first ones. I'm trying to think of somebody else, but the very first short read I ever heard, I was at St. Louis at the boat show. And I heard somebody in the back. I heard, how you walk in a show and you hear a call, and just
Mm-hmm.
kind of calls you right in. And I heard this. I told my dad. I said, I'm going to check that out first thing. And it was Night and Hale, and I'm trying to think of the guy's name. And he had this curly hair. He was with him forever. I can't think of his name, but they had that. It was a double cluck plus, and it wasn't the one they made the suck and cluck. You could inhale and exhale on it. I don't know if you ever blew one of them.
No, no, I haven't.
They didn't call it a suck and cluck. We all did. But you could do.
Gotcha.
But they had the double cluck. Then they had the double cluck plus. That was it. But they had the double cluck, and that was a bigger. Still got some, and it had a big old flared end on one end. It was a short reed, but with a polycarbonate black one, and most realistic thing I'd ever heard. So of course my dad and I both bought a couple of them, and by the next year we were ready to roll. And my God, I couldn't believe the difference in the geese.
Yeah.
Killing geese with it. And then after that, the mag clucker come out, which everybody still to this day copies their guts. But the mag clucker come out, and then they had the double cluck plus. But in the meantime, Tim took that Charlie Hess had a short reed, a wood short reed, and he come out and told Tim to cut that flute call off, that guy's best off, and make that short reed right there, and that's how that come out.
Really?
And that was in, oh man, '94, '93, something, I don't know, somewhere in that area. That's kind of how that evolved.
Now, do you remember how quickly the short read deal took off? Was it like a fire
Yeah.
getting started, or was it a slower burn?
Now it was a slow at first. I used to guide up in Michigan, in Brooklyn, Michigan, out of Knutson's,
Okay.
and I used to guide up there all the time. And they sold every call known to man they had. So I would go to them a few shows and help them sell calls. And I remember going to Minnesota when everybody up there had a big, big river flute. And I was trying to get these guys to blow these short breeds, half breeds, and all that. And a half breed is not the easiest thing in the world to blow. It's an unbelievable killing call. And especially back then when nobody, everybody's still blowing flutes, it was a little tough to sell them. But we sold them, and then we sold the double clucks, and the mag cluckers and stuff. And then right after that, when I come out with mine, I think I was the highest dollar call of $150 for a straight bean honker. And I thought, everybody's like, you'll never sell them. And I said, well, I'm going to have to. I'm going to sell them. And you know what people forget is I get these guys, they'll find a machinist and they'll think they want to be watch YouTube. I'm going to be a call maker. Well, then they start selling some and they think, well, we'll just cut those guys as profit and that. They don't understand everything that goes beyond that.
Yeah.
Paying for the molds for the guts, paying for reed material, paying for a jig to cut the rig, paying for boxes to put the stuff in. Plus, then a dealer wants to buy it, and he's wanting to make 30-40%. So next thing they got no room to play.
Yep.
But I come out with $150 one, and I'm trying to think of first. One of the first shows I went with Point Malay, Michigan, being Freddie's Inc. And we had a booth there selling grounds and stuff and selling FA blinds and stuff. And then I brought my calls out there, and I think we sold 20 at that first show. It's like, whoa. But then it just took off from there. So,
So real quick, I heard on a podcast previous. I want to hear the story. Um, the story about introducing the straight meat honker, because like you said, you sold grounds or you sold calls for Tim, worked for
mhm.
Tim, and did all that. How is that? That had to be nerve wracking as hell. Pulling that thing out of your pocket and showing him.
Well, I'll tell God bless him. Tim, he's a great friend of mine. We went through a time where it wasn't so good. And anyway, he said, I wanted to build a duck call. Well, I'll start back a little ways. Tim didn't have a duck call at the time. And I had the Mallard Magic mold, which come from a guy named Denny Ward out of Jerseyville. Well, that was the same call that Buck Gardner sold a polycarbonate for years and all. And it looked like a rich and cone, but it was a molded call back then. And that was out since the late 70s.
Okay.
So I told Tim, I said, you ought to get in the duck call business because my buddy Buck's not selling them more. And he's got that mold and he'll mold them for you. So he signed it. He goes, I will, but you're gonna package it. So he said, what are we gonna call this? And I said, let's call it a straight meat mallard. He goes, I don't want to use that. And I said, well, let's call it a migrator. And he didn't want to do that. So anyway, I forget what we called that call. And he only got it in two colors. And so I tuned them, packaged them, took them to shows, sold them, did whatever. So later on, I said, I want to build an acrylic duck call. You ain't build it. Yeah, heck yeah, man. So I went to build a duck call. Well, people, I say to this day, you know, I don't, we charge $170 for a goose call. We charge $140 for a duck call. Honestly, it ought to be the other way around. Time you mill that thing, and I mean, a tone board on a duck call is a hard thing to do.
I was gonna
Especially
say
with
there's a
the,
lot more work that goes into a tune board on a duck call than guts on a goose call.
absolutely. Once you get them bolted off, there's not. So back then, now, you can get a copier or whatever and put that right on the digital format, and put it on your milling machine, and you can copy anything you want, and get it
Yeah.
to the T. Well, 1 degree, a little different length on the tone hole, all that. My God, there's a lot to build a duck call. So we were up at Michigan building these things, and we were just having a fit with this tone board, and we just about got it. Well, in the meantime, he said, "Let me set goose call, turn the limb." Well, we turned the goose call in a couple hours. So anyway, we got the goose call. We went ahead and tuned him, we just took that call that I'd made and duplicated it. And I said, I want to put this big band on there, that band that's on the top. And the reason I made that is I wanted to cap the top of that so that if on a wood call it wouldn't spread apart.
Gotcha.
So, uh, so we made that in a few minutes, and then we kept working on a duck call. Well, the guy turned me. I didn't know he did. He turned me 60 of them straight mean honkers, and he turned, I don't know, about 30 duck calls, and we got him. And man, them first ones tough to tune. I filed on them and everything. So we were going to Memphis to the Ducks Unlimited Festival, and Tim had a booth there, and so he had me and Casey Hancock, I think, working for him. And I had this duck call. We're selling these duck calls. I had the Amish make me a. Remember those things you used to put on your table? You could put all your stuff on and spin it.
Oh yeah,
I had
Lazy
one of them
Susan.
with. Yeah, I had. Yeah, put your seasonings on. Well, I had
Yeah.
one. The Amish make me one of them with little wood studs on it that put the duck calls on. So we went to Memphis, got this thing. Well, Zink knew about the duck or goose call, and Zink was kind of off on his own, and he come out with his duck call at the same show. So he brought one up. We traded duck calls. He give one to Grounds, and I'm a Grounds goose selling all his calls and selling duck calls, and the duck calls are going pretty good. Well, that night, Ground or Zink said, "When are you going to show Grounds that call, the goose call?" I said, "I'll show him tonight or something." So anyway, went to his room. We just down the hall from each other, and I went in there and I threw him one of these. It was a ivory and black one. I said, "See what you think of this." "Hey, what are you talking about? What is this deal?" And I said, I said, I turned this when, I told him the story. I said, "You know that little call I blow all the time?" "Yeah." He said, "That it?" He said, "Yeah." Well, he just come out with a super bag and he blew it. He goes, "Oh man, this is awesome." He goes, "Hey, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We'll just take this thing. We'll make it black and white only. And we'll call it a baby super bag. We'll sell the crap out of it." And I thought, okay, we'll see. I didn't know I wanted to do that or not. So
Yeah.
we went on with that for a while, and I thought about it for a while. I thought, it'd be pretty easy. I'll just do that maybe, and he'll give me money off of it, and we'll do whatever. Well, my dad, he was a union iron worker too, and he's like, "Don't give that away. Take it out on your own. You've
Yeah.
been working these shows, do whatever." So I did, and when I did, the war started.
Mm,
So that's kind of how that all went down. But we all got past it, and and everything was good, and uh,
and I mean, to translate into the competition scene, I really wish I would have been born 10 years earlier to see this because, I mean, now you go to a competition, everybody's wearing a camo shirt and blowing. You don't even know what call they're blowing unless you
it,
talk to
it
them about
drives
it.
it drives me insane. You go to a calling competition. Years ago, it was like a Bassmaster track. You knew
Yeah,
what kind
that's what
of
I was going to say.
you
There was
know.
teams, everything.
Oh yeah, if my guys didn't come out there with one of our team shirts and hats on like that, they're off the team.
Yeah.
I mean that was just part of the deal. You had a calling shirt and all that. You had all your stuff. And Browns had the same thing. Zink had the same thing. And Zink his did look like you were a bass fisherman. No,
The Z unit, right?
yeah. So he had all that. We had our team straight meet, and had a grounds crew and all. And so it was quite. It was, but you knew what everybody was blowing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
once in a while, you see somebody go out in a t-shirt or something, but hardly ever. And besides that, it's like just like Easton. What'd you have? 25 callers, I think, this year.
20. Yeah. Something around there.
I swear to God, I remember 70 callers back there and taking a nap between, waiting on your turn to
Yeah.
call. So it's just, man, it's just, and every regional contest, duck calling contest, there was a pile of them in it, and it's just not, it hadn't been for a long time, but that's
Yeah.
a shame. I hate that. But
There's a cheat code right now, and I probably shouldn't be admitting this because somebody's going to come and whoop my ass in the goose calling contest this year. But I mean, if anybody ever wanted to make worlds, I don't think anybody's entered the New Jersey regional in 5 years.
wow.
Maybe not that. I think 4 years because I started blowing in it 3 years ago
Uh-huh.
because nobody wants to go to Arkansas.
Wow.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm.
that's a lot with a lot of Western states too. It's the same thing out west. I mean, though you'll see guys come out there, but there's a few states you never see anybody. From.
I thought about it, but I don't know. I don't think I have the lungs to blow a Main Street routine.
Well, when you hit Arkansas, when you think you're good, and I've been down there, quite a few times. I've won duck call stuff and went there just to be on the stage. But when you get on that stage, it's a whole new ball game, man. I
Yeah.
mean, they ain't playing down there.
Now, everything I've heard, it's like a cattle auction, man. You're in and out. There's
You're
no
in and
playing
out
around,
fast.
nothing.
There's usually 65 to 69 callers on the bus. They call it the bus. It used to be an old bus. It's like a double wide trailer deal now, and you come out. But you talk about intimidation. There's some good callers there, them duck call boy. And it's so much different than goose. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
are blowing one routine,
Yep.
and where a goose, you all have that same routine. We're looking forward to comeback call and get them in here, and and bring them down at the end and all that. But goose calling, your routine can be quite a bit little different,
Yeah,
than
you can put your
like
own flair in it.
put your own flair into the deal. And when the Main Street, you better not put much of a flair in it. You're out. You just got to be perfect,
Yeah.
loud, perfect, and control and your air pressure. How good you can control it. And so, yeah, there's a lot to that duck calling, but and they're so close. There's so many guys that are just so close.
I listened to it last year. I think I watched. They did a live stream or something on YouTube, and I watched it. And I mean, if I closed my eyes and sat there for 20 minutes, I'd have thought the same guy blew 20 routines in a row. I mean, and
You
I'm not
know,
saying anything bad about the callers. It's just like you
yeah,
said, it's a script. If you
and
don't follow the script, you're not going to win.
there's so many that are so good.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
kind
yeah.
of judging it. A lot of times, it's a like judge that you might like some calls or more. I'll take a guy like God bless his soul on best dot cars and walk world champion Bernie Boyle. Bernie had a real, I'm not going to say rough, a coarse sounding call, but he
Okay.
had so much power behind it, Where you turn around to a guy like Todd Copley, who's won the world several times, or Barney Kayla, they more had a smoother call, I don't know how to explain it, there wasn't all that rasp in it, as much,
Gotcha.
not near as much. The judge might like one better than the other. Doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean one blew better than the other. Just that they might like that sound a little bit better. So there's a few little things, in their feeder and how they bring like Trey Crawford. God bless him. He's another one. He always had one of the best feeder calls, ever. And you could pick him out, what by that feeder call. So he won a lot of stuff by that. Not that the rest of his routine was bad; it was all good, But that would it'd pick him
Set
out.
him above.
Yeah, a lot of times it would. Yeah. So it's a tough thing to judge. I love judging them, but because you got to, as a judge, you got to stay on your toes to pick them.
Yeah, very meticulous about it, I'd assume.
Yes, and as a judge, you're sitting there back there waiting for him to make a mistake so you can give him a 70 or something. But
I feel
yeah,
like you can cover up a little bit of like a bobble or a mistake in a goose call routine a lot better than you can a duck call.
you can, and but that's against who the judges are.
Okay.
The problem with most of this anymore, and I'm not going to say about the ducks because if you go to a world duck calling deal, those judges there, they've been there, done that. Most of them,
Hmm.
and they've heard it all. But you go to just like a regular regional contest, a lot of them, they're picking somebody out of the crowd, and the same thing with the goose. If most of the times the judges aren't worthy of that caller, trying to pick him out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I hate that for guys, and it's been that way for since I called. For so yeah, and it's hard to get good judges. Like that. I mean, it's like I wouldn't judge for years when I was blowing or had a team blowing. Ain't no way I would judge because I didn't
Yeah.
want somebody to say, "Oh, he's judging this guy."
Yeah.
But now I enjoy it. Now I've judged for several years and been involved this for years. But the problem is you get like so we had a contest here a while back, and I judged one of them like that there, and them guys, all the judges know what they're doing, and blah blah blah. So why do it? I'm not going to
Yeah.
take a beating on the internet. So,
Yep. Nope. I don't blame you at all.
yeah, so it gets old. I mean, yeah, or you've always got that one guy. Going, he didn't deserve it, and blah blah blah. And he shouldn't. They don't know what they're doing. You got goose guys judging duck guys and all this. Dude, I was born duck call and judging duck call
Yeah.
contests with most of them before they were born. Man.
Yeah. I will say back to the whole team deal. There's really John Taylor does a pretty good job about it. I mean, all them Bay Country guys.
Uh huh.
I've even seen videos at the what's that, the Mile High Expo.
Yeah.
There's a guy sitting in the front row with a Bay Country shirt on, blowing in it. So,
Yeah. I
I,
judged that contest.
oh, did you?
Yeah, one of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that Forrest Carpenter,
yeah.
he knows what he's doing.
He's been a good caller since he was a kid. When he was Colorado years ago, when I mean just a kid, and I remember his mom would take him to all them contests. He's been good for years.
Yeah, but I mean, back to what you're saying about Easton. Do you think we'll ever see guys get into it like that again? You know,
You know,
maybe not as far as the teams, but as far as participation, because like you said, it goes from 70 callers, in the late 90s, early
Mhm.
2000s. Now you're down to 20, and it just seems like it's whittling down and down and down.
Well, that auditorium, when we used to go out there and blow in the con for years and years, it was standing room only. You had to get there early to get a seat. It was that big of a deal. Back then, and it's pretty intimidating when you walk out on that stage. And seeing all the people
Hmm.
out there. But do we get? Man, I don't know. Everything's so expensive anymore, and
Yeah.
I think just like the Eastern Show, I couldn't wait to go out there. We sold stuff out there for years, had a booth out there, and then I don't know. The last time I was there, they kind of put us in a booth back behind everything, and nobody even knew the callers were back there. They say it's pretty nice now, but it's in November, and it's right during our seasons. Out
Everybody's
Midwest.
goose season.
Everybody's goose duck season. We're running hunters and all, and that's a big reason I haven't been for a while because we're busy running guiding hunters out here, but duck hunters. But I don't know, man, what it'll take to make it like that. I think they've got plenty of prizes. It doesn't seem like the prize money's the problem. It's just
What it seems like, and this is listening to guys like Mike Benjamin and Teddy Hoover talk on their podcasts and stuff like that. And what they say really rings true is nobody knows how to lose anymore. I can sit in this room and
hmm
I can blow my ass off for 10 months. I
hmm
can get a routine down packed. I can listen to Kyle Jones and
yeah.
name whoever you want. And I'll be like, that sounds better than him. And then I go to a contest and I bobble. Right?
Well, that happens. That's not something new though. That's been going on for years and years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've done the same thing. You choke up, and usually what happens is just nerves. And I think it's till you finally get to the point in your contest column where when you walk on that stage, this is my 90 seconds. I own this place. This is my deal. I'm doing, doing. When you finally get to that, then that's when you'll start doing better, and quit the bobbing and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, over the years, there's been some people I think they should have won or they didn't. I mean, everybody's thought that over the years, but and didn't think it was judged fairly or whatever. But that's just been something that's went on for years. I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. I think the internet. Everybody watches the internet. Everybody's scared to go. Maybe. I mean, heck, it's pretty intimidating to walk out on the years ago with all the guys that was there.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
out there. So Grounds and Zinc and Alan McCree and all the different ones. It was pretty intimidating to do that. John Taylor, different ones, but uh, I don't know. I think what the show we used to be so anxious that we'd to go to those shows because there was a lot to see and all that. There wasn't an
Yeah.
internet.
Yeah.
So it was kind of cool to go see all the different stuff for sale and all the waterfowl stuff. Where now they can pick it off the and watch a call, watch a routine on the internet and whatever. So I really don't know what they said about don't know how to lose. There's a lot of them don't like it, and I think the calling is at a stage where there's X amount of guys that's really really good,
Mm-hmm.
and I think guys just say they watch it on the internet and go, I can't beat them guys. I'm not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean, I almost translate it to it. I kicked this dead horse or beat this horse to death. But going back, I rode bulls when I was younger for a long time, and there was a lot of times I'd go to a rodeo and I knew I was going to get beat if I could stay on the damn thing's back. Let
Mm-hmm.
alone, I like I said, I kind of translate because like riding a bull, you got to ride your bull before you can worry about where you're going to place. You got to
Right.
get through 90 seconds before you got to worry about if so
Mm-hmm.
and so is going to beat you or not. And I mean, 9 times out of 10, probably 9.9 times out of 10, I went out there and ended up face first in the mud. But you know, I
Well,
tried a lot, but
well, it takes a pretty big kahunas to get on that to start with. So.
but I mean, I don't know. I really mean that. I don't think there's a lot of people out there that know how to lose and know how to humble themselves. But
Well,
I mean,
here's something else that's changed a lot that most guys don't know. Years ago, so like Grounds, myself, Freddie, whoever, I mean, Sean Mann, all of us guys, we were in this for a different reason.
oh yeah, yeah,
We were in this because back, if you wanted to be a call maker and be successful at all, you had to earn it.
yeah,
You couldn't sit around in your tidy whities on the couch eating Cheetos, watching Star Trek on YouTube, and be a call maker. If you did, and get on Facebook and put a free ad up, and and get AI to build you an ad or something, or you couldn't do that. You had to
hmm
earn this thing. And so let's just say if you walked into Cabela's to sell calls, you had to win some world championships, and you had to be advertising. So,
yeah,
and if you want to put a $3,000 full page ad into Wildfire magazine back then, if you want, I was looking for wins. So we said world championship. We won that,
yeah,
50 regionals. We fit, all this here to sell the calls. And that was how we sold stuff. And that's how we got into the business. You just had to, nobody was going to buy nothing from you if you had won a bunch of stuff.
yeah,
So that's what you were up against. You were up against, back then there wasn't, that many. So you're up against Grounds, and he'd won everything at the time, and his guys, and I won a bunch of stuff with his calls. You're up against Freddie, and he'd won a bunch of stuff, and his guys won a bunch of stuff. And you had, if you were in the duck call deal, you're Richard Tone, and then you're up my guys, Sean
uh-huh.
Mann's guys, and we all could go out and say, but if you just popped out of the woodwork like 90% of them does today, and I'm not beating anybody up for it, it's just the truth. If
Yeah,
you popped out of the woodwork, you ain't selling anything.
no,
You wasn't going to, nobody started the company because they didn't have that.
yeah.
So that was how we made our living, how we started the company back then, because you had to. So,
Yeah, the one thing that gets me, and it's not throwing shade on anybody, is I really see it a lot with the turkey guys. You'll have guys come out with a box call, slate call, mouse calls, and then 2, 3 years later, they got a duck call with an
mm-hmm.
echo insert. A year later, they got a goose call.
Yeah,
That's where it's like, you're really good at doing turkey calls.
yeah,
Stick to that.
yeah, yeah. I see it every day, and when I go to these shows now, Harrisburg's not so bad. It doesn't have as many call makers as some of them, but you'll go to some of these shows like DU show, different ones. Like, I mean, there's different ones you'll go to, and you go, "Who is this guy? Where's he from? What's the deal?" Man,
Yeah,
it's just enough. And you're like, they'll say, "What do you think about this call?" I don't know. I don't know anything about it. And then you'll walk by and go, "Who's this guy? What'd you do? How'd you get in this business?" And basically, they got a machinist, and I'm just glad. The best thing I did when I started, I patented my stuff, and if I wouldn't have done that, I'd been out of business a long time ago, probably.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but yeah,
No,
it's
I
just
mean, just the look of your calls alone, there's nothing on the market like it.
well, it was a, but not that, like, again, I'm not trying to beat anybody up. And
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
handful of guys that are earning it right now that got out there and earned it and got their title and selling calls and all. I have no problem with that, but it just, I see them just daily at these shows. And you're like, who is this and how do they get into business?
yeah.
So I don't know.
So I do want to ask you because I didn't get to ask you before. How did you get into competition calling?
Um, back when back when I was guiding, and especially in Southern Illinois, if you guide in Southern Illinois back there was a pit every 200 yards through three counties. I mean, that was like Maryland was, years ago. I mean, they
Yeah.
called it the goose capital of the world. Each of them did. So, I mean, you'd guide down there, it's 300,000 geese, in the refuge or whatever, and you're guiding, you're blowing everything. And like I said, these pits are everywhere. So most of the money you made was off of tips. So the better you were, the more tips you're going to get. So that's kind of how, the more geese you kill, the better, more you're going to get paid, the better club you're going to get to hunt at. So that's kind of how it got started. And the very first contest I blew in, I blew the call that's a straight meat honker is, and it was just a prototype.
Okay.
Of course, I got my ass handed to me, and in a hand basket because if you didn't blow a flute.
Yeah.
And so I got in. So I thought, well, I better get on this flute, back on these flutes and all that. So I got with grounds and Freddie was a lot younger than me, and he was young, way young then, and we got buddies and we got traveling the country together and all that, and it was this man. It was just I would be working up on the iron, bolting up or something, waiting on a piece of iron, have a flute call in my boat bag, and I'd be blowing up on top of the iron all the time.
Oh, the guys at work. It's funny. I'll come back up and sit at the asphalt plant while we're running. I'm a maintenance guy. There's not really much
uh
to do, and I'll come back up in the tower and be like, or I'm sorry, I'll walk out of the tower and the guys will be like, yeah, Pedro's gonna go blow his bird whistle again. Stay in the tower, ring your ears.
Yeah,
There's
I
just
mean,
too.
but
It's too
that's
good of an echo around there.
it sounds awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. I just and I wanted to. I didn't know I was going to get in the call business, but I wanted to be earn my way in.
hmm
And then once I started winning and winning a bunch of stuff, that's when it all come around. And I thought, and I just trying to make a better, mousetrap,
Yeah.
basically, and
And
to
I.
kill more geese. That's what it didn't start out to be a call maker, but it worked good. And I come out, well, I'm gonna sell these things, and finally, I come out with it and started selling the crap out of it and all that. And I was selling so many. I was general foreman on a job at a big steel mill and had all my guys were welding. So I'm putting the calls together, straight meat honkers together in the job trailer for Cabela's, for Cabela's order. I said, I'm done.
Yeah.
I had a few bucks in my pocket. Nobody made a website back then, and I had I can't think of his name, Hagen, was his last name. One of Sean Mann's guy, Dave Hagen. He was making websites, and he made me one, and I spent a bunch. And back then, it cost a lot of money to do that, so I made that, and I no more made it. And I already knew what I want, what I want to do, and I thought, man, I'm spending all this money on ads. I'm going to keep doing this, and I was probably spending more money than anybody at the time on ads. I had a full page in every magazine that come out, and I said, I'm going to start filming. I'm going to get my own camera guy. I'm going to do my own thing, and I got a different way I want to do it. And so that's when we started filming, and got into video business.
So we kind of you kind of brought it up earlier with social media. Times are changing. Social media is more relevant than ever, especially in the waterfowl industry.
Hmm.
Good or bad from a seller standpoint, do you think social media and the internet have had a positive influence on the industry? Or because before you answer, I know, pre 2008, whatever year that the transition really happened, if you wanted a call, you had to wait for the Cabela's catalog, the Max catalog, whatever catalog it was, and somebody called you or the store.
Right.
And the nice thing about that was just like at a show, why I don't really buy calls off the internet anymore. I'll go to a show and get one because, just with that showtime, we went through 6 calls before I found one that really fit me.
Right. Right.
And you don't know that, and I didn't know that. So you
Hmm.
could have boxed one up off the internet, sent one out, and I'd have spent 2 months cussing you trying to retune
Right.
it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But if you call, you can be like, hey, I want a heavier tune, this, that, whatever. So what's your stance on that?
Well, if I could turn back the clock and change it where it used to be, I'd do it tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a lot more money back then, because it wasn't social media. So if you wanted the word out on your call, you had two things. If you wanted to sell Cabela's, you took in all the magazines that you were advertising in, and that's what sold the thing. You know,
Yeah.
they want to know where you're advertising. What are you doing? So I spent a fortune on that, and I had hired Lee Jost to do the ads, and that wasn't cheap either. You know, and he was the best and still the best in the business doing it.
Yeah.
And you had to create that right graphics, image, and all that, and that's what sold it. And it. I mean, it ain't about it. I'm not saying money bags or not because I spent last dime I had a lot of time getting those full page ads, but ain't everybody going to spend. So if you just take it away today, take the social media away today, and you say, okay, you want a full page ad. Now you don't have to get a full page. Let's just say you want a full page ad in Wildfowl, and it's $3,000. That that just eliminated the competition.
Yep. Yep.
So you had to work really, really hard at it. And the other way we advertise is through, started out VHS tapes, DVDs, and went to DVDs and all that. And that was my biggest advertisement was those videos.
I mean, everybody had to know the fallen skies and the stuff like that back
Right.
then. I mean,
So, and they waited. They couldn't wait till the next one come out, and it was a great way for us to advertise to do whatever. And call sales were just through the roof that way. Now, is it a positive thing? I think in a lot of ways it is, because you can go online and you can look and you can listen, and there's so many things you can do as a hunter or a call maker. But golly, it can also be bad. I mean, it lets a lot in that has no clue what they're building.
yeah. Yeah.
That's the part I don't like about it. But I mean, pretty easy for me to read through. What's on social media, and some guys get really good at social media. They're way better than that than they are calling, and they get really good at it. And they start selling stuff, and then I feel sorry for the guy that bought it and goes, "God, this is a piece of crap."
Yeah.
But I need to get better at it. Cole, my boy, he's really good at it. But I think the key to it now, everything is TikTok. I mean, I talk to a lot of guys that manufacture a lot of different things, and that's their number one selling place. TikTok. So
Yeah, we started the LLC 2 years ago now. This is our second year doing. Yeah, so 2 years ago now, and I mean, we do more stuff on TikTok than anything. I hate posting on TikTok. I really do. I hate it. I hate
yeah,
going on there. I hate posting, but just because they're so strict with what you can and can't post. And I mean,
right.
when we first started, I could post hunting videos and it would fly through the radar under the radar.
Hmm.
Now, with the views we get, it's just everything's banned, banned, banned. So
Yeah,
I I
yeah.
stick
I
to the other
know.
ones.
When I went out there hunting with Ryan, the UPS guy that's on there, he's getting pretty big on there now. He says foils, you can't say kill them when you can't say kill. I go,
Hmm.
what? He goes, dude, they'll have me banned and they can't say kill him. Well, I said, well, then you're calling the shot because I've
Yeah.
said that for 62 years.
Yeah.
So anyway, but the other thing, it was we're sitting there and this little guy from India or somewhere jumps on there with us. And, and he's had to have somebody to block him out. And it was just, I don't know if I want to deal with it. He keeps telling me I need to, but I don't know.
Yeah, I try to stay at. I mean, we do the podcast and everything, so I'm on it every other day, if not every day. And I mean, it's just there's a lot of good that comes from it. Like I said, before we started, I've met a lot of good people through social media, you included, and but there are so many negatives to it because anybody can get on a keyboard and type whatever they want.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
There is keyboard cowboys all over,
Yeah.
and it's easy for them to hide behind it. I want to jump through there sometimes.
Yeah.
But
So
uh,
going back to what we talked about before, you brought up obviously you ran with grounds for a while, and Freddie.
mhm.
That had to be, especially looking back on it now, going through the 2000s and stuff. How neat was that? You, Freddie, Grounds, and all them guys. That had to have been a prestigious group at the time.
Well, um, I'm 6 months older than Grounds was.
Okay.
Um, Freddie, I'm not sure how old he is right now. He's 50 something, but yeah, I remember when he's at that time, he's like younger than I was. But we all ran together all the time, and it was a fun time because Tim was a different man. They broke the mold on him. Talk about fun. Now he's out to kill him. I mean, he is one of the best. He was probably the best goose killing call. I mean, goose calling killer that I ever hunted with. I mean, he knew what to do at the time, and he was just wide open everything he did. And yeah, it was a lot. That was a lot of fun. So like we guided at Burnsville, and I guided down there every day. And I'd stay in Southern Illinois. I'd stay at his house with him for 30 days. And man, that was there was me and Grounds and well, Altie Lanham was down there. He was at a club right next to us. But there was in that club that there was Troy Dishner. I don't know if you know Troy. Troy won all kind of stuff, great in the flute call and all that.
Yep.
This it was just that whole crew was down there, and that's why you had to get good because I mean you had competition,
Yeah.
everywhere you went. So there was just a pile of great goose callers come out of there for that same reason, just trying to make the money and be better. And it was a competition among us too.
Yeah. Trial by
So
fire, basically.
yeah, and but when we went to the contest, everybody got along great, and it might be. Grounds might win one day. Freddie might win one day. I might win one day. Alan McCree was awesome. He might blue one,
Yep.
or just could have been Troy. It could have been any one of us at that time.
Yeah.
And, and everybody got along great and whatever. But I say they got along great, and then till I come out with a call. And Freddie come out with a call and all that, and then you sit in the bullpen, and there was everybody was kind of playing their own part.
Kind of side eyeing everybody.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. It was different, but
now,
yeah, it was.
now, now, before we'll end here in a minute, I do want to ask about the spec deal because you guys are seeing. Oh, I mean, I haven't been out there, but everything I've heard, that part of the country, and you guys have over the last 10 years have been seeing less and less Canadas, right?
Yeah, what our Canadas are hung in all the ones that used to come to Southern Illinois. Um, them birds are all in the Chicago area.
Yeah, yeah,
Chicago exploded. There's a million reasons why they don't come, but and everybody's got their own theory, but it's not one thing. It's like 20 things.
yeah,
But Chicago exploded. It was subdivisions everywhere, all the way to Wisconsin and down below to I-80 and all over. And it's just nothing but suburbs with retention ponds. And then they got introduced to Giant Canada, and so they moved them up there. And then every migrator stops there. And heck, there's 150,000 geese in Chicago.
yeah.
Every time you go, I say Chicago, I'm talking that
The
area,
whole area. Yeah, yeah,
that big area. And so they go there and they don't leave. If they get a big, and then if they get a big snow, freeze, whatever, they go to Braidwood, which is south of I-80 around Joliet area, and they go down there and they hit that hot water nuclear plant, and they don't go any farther than that. We
yeah.
trickle down, we kill more where I'm at than down in Marion area and down in that area. We get a few down here, but the specks, I mean, we didn't never kill specks until I don't know, 15 years ago, something like that. And because they would just go straight to, something go straight to Arkansas or wherever. But now we're getting a bunch of specks. We kill quite a few specks up here anymore. But Arkansas slaughters them. It's good in Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, especially I don't know if it's because of social media or what, but just the last 5 years, it seems like this, spec guides have been kind of a trend that have been popping up. And I mean, not like
Mhm.
a trend where it's just like a couple fluke guys out here, but I mean, there's guys that really get on them.
Oh yeah, I mean you got guys in Arkansas that's putting 1,000 decoys out and killing 1,000 a year. Uh, yeah, and they've got I think it's three birds down. We're three birds. We're two birds here. I think they're three. I'm not sure,
What do you
but
guys
they've
on
got a pile
Canada's?
up. Excuse me,
What's your limit on Canada's?
three.
Three? Better than we are.
Yeah, yeah, we got three still. We're good on that, but like I said, it's uh, we got pockets of them down here.
Hmm.
If you get around, I'm just north of St. Louis, about an hour. The St. Louis area, the metropolitan area's got a ton of around the city. And them boys kill them some places pretty good. And we get them in between there but I'm right on the Mississippi River, so I get all them Mississippi River birds. It's flying up down the river. So but we
Now,
don't have that big resident population at
yeah.
all.
Now, how much different is, hunting specs versus snows or Canadas?
Oh, if you can kill snows, you got. I mean, it's a whole different ball game of how to kill them and everything. But we don't go snow goose hunting without or speck hunting without snow goose decoys out up here.
Okay.
And most of the boys, a lot of boys in Arkansas ain't either. They track to them snows because they get down to Arkansas, they're all together.
Okay.
But um, it's a whole different ball game. I went to California, Sacramento one time. I had a spec call, and heck, if I sold 3 spec calls a deal, it'd probably be a big deal. I shouldn't say that. Probably a dozen would be a big deal. And my spec call, my old one sucked, and I had to build a new one because it's getting. I'm just being honest. I didn't like it. So you can make it work, but you better have some lungs on it.
Yeah.
So, and I really didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't know how to kill them. So
Yeah.
I thought I need a new call, and I'm gonna go to California, and I'm gonna figure this deal out because they're the ones that had them at the time. And they still do. So I went out. Have you heard of Kenny White? A guy named Kenny White.
I don't think that rings a bell.
He's won a bunch of spec call and stuff. He helped
Okay.
a hunter out. He helped me out with a call and all
Oh,
that.
yep.
So I
Okay.
went out.
Yeah, I have heard of
So,
him.
so I went out there and hunted them, learn how to kill them, and learn how to call them, and stayed a few days. And what's on one of my videos we filmed it out there, and then he helped me build a call, and we sell the crap out of spec calls anymore, lots of them.
Do you see them moving further east and east, or have you heard of them moving further east and east? I know there was a couple killed in Jersey this year, but
Um, the boys in Indianapolis, Indiana, and all that's 5 to 6 hours from me, east of me, and they're starting to kill some. They're not just loaded, but I told them boys, I said, I'll guarantee in 5 years that'll be one of your main birds you kill.
yeah. No,
But
I mean, one day that's like my bucket list bird right now is to kill a speck. That's
yeah, they're a lot of fun, and you call to them and they call back to you, and it's
that's
kind
what
of
I've
fun to
heard. You
watch.
kind of you mirror what they're doing.
You absolutely, especially if it's a single or a pair or something, if you get a bunch of them, you can kind of cut loose and break them out, and and scream at them and get them broke down and everything. But if you get that single and pair, you just mimic what they're doing, and usually get them. And when they decide to decoy, they decoy good.
Oh yeah,
And they eat a lot better than anything else.
I've heard that.
They are. They're good. They're good tasting bird. But yeah, we kill quite a few of them around here anymore.
So the last question I want to ask you is foils migrators. At least in my mind, is one of the staples of the calling industry. We'll say even the waterfowl industry as a whole.
Hmm.
I mean, you were one of the biggest rock stars of the 2000s in the whole deal. Fast forward 25 years later or 26 years later, where we are now, where do you see, do you see anything new or anything for foils in the next 5 years?
Oh, I've got a couple things in my mind, but I'm 68. I've been waterfowl for six. This was my 62nd year. I've been started when I was 6 years old. Cole, he's wound up into it, and what's going to eventually happen here before long is Cole's going to end up running the thing, and he's got a lot of great ideas, and he'll end up with the whole thing and doing it, and I'll come back from Florida or somewhere and hunt a few days. But anyway, that's kind of where we're going, I'd say. But I've got a couple things in mind I want to do before I get out, and I'll help him do a few things, and design a few things. But I keep, I'm always working on some kind of a duck call or goose call, and mostly ducks anymore. We're changing duck calls all the time. We got a big array of duck calls anymore. And we sell as many duck calls as we do goose call. But yeah, I have the redemption call, the crime scene call. I just came out with them the last two, but I kind of got something else in mind, another gut system, and I want to try. There's a couple things that I'm going to come out with here in the next few years, but then I've got a couple other things. There's one thing I'll probably come out to probably shock everybody why I'm doing that, but anyway, I got probably going to come out in the next year or two, and now I've got some molds I'm looking into now and different things. So. Uh, Yeah, you're always trying to, like you said, you're always trying to build that better mousetrap.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely excited to see what you got planned next.
Yeah, it's I probably do more shows cross country than anybody.
Yeah.
And I still think, like you said earlier, you want to go there and try out a call, do that. The mainstream waterfowlers want to do that. Now, our internet sales is awesome, but the main guy like yourself, you want to go there, hands on, touch something, buy it, what from,
Plus, you learn something, just like
you,
where we
yeah,
were at. You
sure,
just me blowing a couple notes, you could pick something out, be like, "Hey, try this."
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
And you're only going to learn so much on YouTube.
yeah, yeah.
And
I agree.
there's some guys, will only tell you so much too.
Yeah,
They're not going to
yeah,
tell you no. I mean, us old schoolers like me, years ago, nobody tell anybody anything. Anymore, I don't care.
yeah.
I just want people to get better. But
Fair enough.
and well, like the guy I got with me there, John Manning. Him and Cole and all. And them boys are like really good at showing a guy how to blow a call. And I had so many kids at that come up and they'll come over and we'll get out there and try to show them how to blow a call. And we won't quit once they get a note. We want them to get it right.
Yeah,
And they're just shocked that we do that. I don't pay attention to what another call maker does, but I think some of the new ones don't even take the time, here,
there's
blow
very
three
few,
notes and send them on the way,
very few.
but I don't know. I get a kick out of seeing all the people at the shows and all thing, but I do so many, I'm pretty soon to get wore out with after a
Oh, I
while.
could
I'm,
imagine. That's a
I'm
lot of
usually glad
traveling.
when I got this one next week and then I'm off till mid-July at Squad Fest. So
Yeah, I'd like to get out to Squad Fest this year. I've heard a
that's
lot of good things about it. That and
as a
Game
water
Fair.
as a waterfowl show, that is the biggest one in the country by far. I
Hmm.
mean, I go to all these things, and I used to would have told you Game Fair in Minnesota was the biggest show there is. I can cross the river and go to Dive Bomb's place over there and sell more than I'll sell at any of their shows. Yeah, it's good, but it's usually hot, but
Yeah.
it's full of people.
But
And
well, Jeff, sorry. Go
if I
ahead.
put a curve in my bill of my hat, I'm in the wrong spot. I got to wear a
Yeah.
flat bill.
When you go over there.
Yeah. But no, it's a great show. They're great people and they know how to do it. And it's kind of amazing. And the contests are
I,
unbelievable.
I was gonna say, going back to the contest side of things. Nowadays, when you think of a goose calling contest, unfortunately, you don't really think of Easton first. You think of Squad Fest because they
Yeah.
allow guys like Robbie,
Hmm.
Robbie, Kyle, all
Yeah.
whoever you want to name. They're all out there.
They're there.
Hunter, he goes to it, and it's the
It's
only place you can hear all them guys at the same time.
well, since Rogers quit,
Yeah, that's a shame.
it is. Yeah. I understand why, but since they quit, that was the biggest contest in the country. And now Dive Bombs is by far. And it's run well. It's everything about it's first class, and like you said, you see all the top guys will be there. I mean,
Hmm.
if it's a bunch of them be there. But yeah, it's you walk on that stage up there, man, you're blowing against the best.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and even the novice callers. I mean, it's
Oh, it's
just
crazy how good they are. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's absolutely correct. Duck callers, they have a meat duck calling thing over there, and my God, that's the best of the best in that.
The
And
meat.
that's usually what I like judging that, so I usually judge that thing. And uh, yeah, it's some of the best callers in the world's there.
Yeah, but no, Jeff, I appreciate you coming on and joining us again.
Sure. Yeah. Anytime, man. Thanks for having me on. And you guys need anything, and tell the crowd out there. I don't know when you're going to put this out, but
Tomorrow.
if you put it out tomorrow, you guys in Indiana will be out there at the Indianapolis show. We've been going that for 25 years. Come on out. I do seminars every day and tune your calls for free and check everything out. It's a great show.
All right. I appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Let me end it here real quick. But oh, it's still